actually a scrub nurse, but being pushed into endoscopy, decontamination, and everything else that goes with it. So 2 questions. What should we be using? We're using now gone to bedside clean with a little pot where we add fluid to it, either water. So we should be using tap water or sterile water. It's quite a big discussion at the moment. And then my second question is, my water sample results, I'm getting regularly high electrical conductivity results above 40, but nobody in my organisation is coming back to me with an answer about what should I do. I don't know what the impact is, so I'm sending it out there because nobody seems to give me an answer.
So I'll ask a question on that second one, and then I'm going to re-divert the other one to Rob.
You're doing TVCs, are you?
Well, I'm going to talk about the conductivity.
Conductivity.
And then you go on about the bedside flush. So, have you discussed with your AED?
No, we've pushed it out to the actual manufacturers of the scopes because I didn't know whether that would be an issue. But again, got mixed answers from depending on who I talk to within the manufacturer. And I've also sent the question out to everybody else within my organisation who does endoscopy. And again, some people are using sterile water and some people are mixing with tap water.
Stay on the conductivity a minute.
Oh, the conductivity?
Yeah.
No, so the only people, I've literally sent an email out to particular people with it. My AED says it's fine.
Right, okay. Well,
He's happy, but it's sitting around 42, 43 sometimes. So that's above the 40, which it seems to be in the HTM.
Your RO shouldn't be having conductivity that high.
No,
well, this is what I'm asking. What was it when it was commissioned?
Oh, God, I don't know. I mean, but this is only happening in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So suddenly, and I thought, well, was it the way it's being tested? We've gone to a different testing people. So I don't know, but I'm coming at this.
Your conductivity should be monitored continuously.
It is. Oh, yeah, it is. And it's only, I mean, I do it on a weekly basis, and I do it.
No, each cycle.
It is. My RO machine is telling me 8, 9, 10. But the readings I'm getting from when I'm sending my waters out is completely different to what my RO machine is giving me. So
What are your historical results?
Fine.
I think
never
you
above.
need to go back to find out what your historical results are.
And they're fine. I'm telling you that this has only happened in about the last 2 or 3 months.
So this is something at a test lab, not not your RO sensors on your machines or your
RO sensors on the machine are fine, but so I was getting high readings, and then my organisation went to a different testing facility, and they're also coming back high. So I'm really perplexed as to, and sadly my background, well, not sadly, is a scrub nurse, so I'm a little bit overwhelmed with quite how to move forward.
I wouldn't worry about the TVCs that you're getting from the lab. If your sensors on your machines are okay,
yeah,
it could be a bit of detergent. I mean, even the tiniest drop of detergent gets in that water, it'll send the conductivity through the roof.
Fine, okay. So
I think you've asked the right people. You've asked your AED for advice. They've come back with I'd like to understand a bit of rationale behind it, but obviously your AED is responsible for your site. They would have a better understanding of your site. So I think you've asked the right people.
Great.
As you rightly say, if the RO plant is consistent, there's no problem there.
Yeah.
It could be.
So I've mapped my readings from the RO machine against the readings I'm getting back, and there's just no correlation whatsoever. Every day I check my RO machine conductivity, and it.
The washers do a service or anything like that?
No. Well, I mean, it's old, but and we are about to get a new one, but I can't work it out.
I think if your sensors are calibrated regularly, then I wouldn't question the TVCs or the water going through.
Okay.
I think you've done the right thing, asking your AED,
Yeah.
And obviously they are closer to your problem than we are.
Okay, super. And then my bedside clean?
So going back, go on, Bob.
On your bedside clean, potable water, so source water, tap water, that's absolutely fine.
Great, thank you.
Sterile water would be great, but it's the risk and reward.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very expensive process when you don't really need to. You're not going to get that much from it.
And sustainability, talking to the lady there, don't want to keep using plastic bottles.
Yeah.
Get that one in there.
I think just be careful with that, because there's a lot of commercial options around at the moment. Whichever way you go, make sure whichever product you convert to, you know, with the green agenda in your mind, but it's got to be effective, and you've got to make it repeatable as well.
Yeah, I'm going to throw one out on the bedside pods. It's something I've come across in my organisation at the moment. There's a particular product out there where you can add your own water to the chemical sachet. And this company recommends that you use 250 mils for an OGD, because it's not as big. But then for a colonoscope, you put 500 ml of water. Now, my issue with that is you're using the same amount of detergent. So for arguably a more contaminated, larger scope, you've got a weaker concentration of detergent solution. So just be careful of that one as well. It's something I've come across and I wasn't quite happy about it.
Good morning, Brian Kirk, AED. One for Lisa. If we all went over to reusable fabrics in theatres, would we have the laundry capacity to reprocess them?
We don't have an on-site laundry, so for us it will be taken up with a laundry provider. There are several within our locality that we could use, but it would be offsetting, I think, the finance from having to invest in the linen and a laundry contract versus the single-use packs that we're using at the moment. So the gains would be less. If you look at the amount of output waste volume-wise at the end of an operation, a lot of it is drapage. So we would create savings as well on the disposal cost of those drapes. So the two together, we're hoping we'll put a financial package together. Like I say, capacity for us isn't an issue because we will have to outsource that work, but we're hoping the output of reducing the waste and not having to buy the single-use pack in the first place will offset investment in the linens and a laundry contract.
Yeah, when I said capacity, I meant in the general aspect of that, in that do we have sufficient number of even commercial laundries around the country that could take on that extra workload? They will be sized to deliver the business that they currently have, maybe with a bit of overage. If you suddenly start pushing more and more clinical fabrics to them, they may have to put in a lot of investment to put in new washers and cleaning facilities. And I don't know if we have that capacity.
I think there will be appetite for it, though. There might not be. I suppose that in the current climate, maybe there isn't, but it's certainly. Not everybody is going to jump onto that bandwagon at the same time, I don't think. If we do go back that way, it will be gradual across the country. And it's not going to be for every procedure every single time either. I don't think there's a degree of suitability. Like we went to single-use drapes in orthopaedics in arthroplasty, for example, because there was concerns around when you drape a knee for a knee replacement, the single-use drapes, they come with an integral piece of sticky film that's impregnated with iodine and various other antibacterials that they actually incise through that film to then make the kind of cuts into the joint, etc. And they were designed for arthroplasty to reduce infection. So I think for certain cases like orthopaedic arthroplasties, they probably will remain with what they have. But for some of the operations that we do, the reusable drapes we used for many, many years successfully. We always had reusable linen. There wasn't spikes in infections necessarily attributed to linen at that time. I think there is a degree of it that could go back to that, just maybe not come in its entirety. So we're looking at doing it slowly, like maybe starting with scrub hats and then moving on to gowns and then moving on to specialities where we think we would have appetite for moving back to those single-use, reusable drapes, sorry.
I'm actually with Brian. I think there's a logistical challenge there.
It's a good business for somebody.
There's a lot of healthcare industrial-sized laundries around, but not many of them that are equipped to provide sterile products. That's something that went away because of the risk factors and the benefits of going to single use for those drapes. So I think there would be a challenge to the capacity, and there would be, like I say, a big opportunity for somebody to do that.
Your subject of train rationalization project was very interesting. Now, I noticed that there was an aspect of the time saving for the theatre team during the procedure that also reduces the waste and could allow for other things to be undertaken within the environment at the same time. Have you studied the impact of more organized content lists on the time-saving, what time-saving effect it could have? When we rationalize some of our trays at Trafford Hospital, I've noticed that some of them had room for a little bit of an improvement, where things, for example, such as, when, for example, scissors were listed in disorganized manner, you would have a sponge holder, cryogonidal holder, then you have a Mayo scissors, then you have a little tissue forceps, then Alice, then another pair of scissors. So we took effort to organize this list, and I know it might be seconds, but then that tray is used 200, 300, 400 times a year. So that effect expands in that manner, so to speak. I was wondering, within your scope of identifying the time saving within the environment, was that part of the project? Is there any known impact of it? If it just is easier to the theatre staff?
It absolutely was part of the logic, because I was always frustrated with the way that things were set up, and for me it was the sensible way to set your tray up would be the way that you're going to use it. So thinking about the end-to-end of the procedure and putting your things in that order and then counting them in that specific way. We did a little bit around just cleaning everything up in general. Time saved, we got feedback from the staff, and the staff are generally happy with the changes that we've made, and in the beginning we kind of had to canvass them to try and get their buy-in, but by the end we regularly receive phone calls saying, oh, forgot about this set, we've not used that for ages, but we've used it today and it's got X, Y and Z on it. So people now come to us, and then they're curious about the savings that they might make financially, and we give them a forecast of how many times a year it's used and what that equates to if they take off X, and they go away feeling particularly pleased with themselves. And I think if we look at economics of theatre time, Professor Tim Briggs, who is the chair and director of GIRFT, Getting It Right First Time, which is a government body looking to maximise efficiency and minimise downtime within operating theatres across the country, he has estimated a theatre costs £1,200 an hour to run one theatre. We've got 32. Your hospitals will have whatever amounts they have. So you're looking at £20 a minute. So if you save 3 to 5 minutes on a check per case, because you've halved the number of instruments on there and you're not having to count them all, that economically adds up. And the same for you guys at the check side and the QA side and the wash side. Washing 90 instruments when we're only going to use 30 of them is pointless.